YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 7 start and sit video for the running back position. Again, if you guys are new to the channel, we are always talking about full PPR and half PPR. If it is a standard league, of course, ask us in the comments down below. We'll help give you some advice on who you should start and sit. And yes, again, we are talking running backs, the one position that everyone either loves or hates, and this season probably hates a bit more. It is tough. It is one of those positions that you either have the top 5 studs that are out there, and then the rest you're kind of just playing, musical chairs, trying to figure out who could fill in your RB2, maybe an RB1, flex. There's so much going on. There's just not the same amount of top tier running backs like there used to be in the past. Where obviously wide receivers, you can get away with a plethora of different players to perform and do really well for you. So again, this is a tough position, but we'll talk about who we recommend as a good start and sit, and of course some sleepers. Now, there of course are teams on bye, so make sure you guys are paying attention to that, please. Please make sure you're paying attention to that. And there's also a Thursday night game, so we do have a game there. Again, make sure your lineups are ready for that. If you guys do have questions, again, hit us up in the comments. So these are your starting running backs that I believe is obvious. These are guys you should be putting in your lineup no matter what the situation is, no matter the matchup. You should feel pretty confident. Now, there are some big names in here you're probably going to miss. Dalvin Cook, I didn't mention, obviously on a bye. You also don't have Christian McCaffrey, who, in this case, is playing. I'm not 100% confident in as an obvious start. You're going to start him because you need to, and he's going to perform probably pretty well, but I don't have as an obvious start because you may have some other players, and that's kind of, you just might, all right? Now, the first running back I recommend as a good start is going to be Josh Jacobs. He's almost at an obvious standpoint. It's funny how early in the season, everyone thought, man, Josh Jacobs is gone. Zamir White's going to take the role because you drafted a rookie. And on top of that, there was the whole McDaniels thing saying that he doesn't love Jacobs. And it's different. Jacobs is phenomenal so far this season. He's going against the Texans, who actually lead the most in points for the running back with 30.4 points. They also lead the league in allowing 133 rushing yards. And you're getting a running back who just came off of 2 solid games over 30 points per game and averaging over 140 rushing yards in those 2 games each. So now you have another great performance that should happen for Josh Jacobs this week, and it only cements of where he should stand as far as the season goes. I talked a lot about Josh Jacobs. If any of my local leagues that I'm in, people thought I was crazy drafting him, but I liked what I saw out of him. He's got the talent, and I think it's a proven deal for him. They didn't sign his extension for the 5th-year option. So that just shows that he's hungry and he wants to prove and kind of really show the Raiders like, hey, you made a mistake by not bringing me on for a 5th year. And who knows if he ends up there next year. But I like Josh Jacobs as a good start this week. Another running back I have as a pretty good start, and you're probably going to think I'm crazy for this, I have Jeff Wilson Jr. against the Chiefs. Last week's performance may scare a lot of people in putting Wilson in, and I understand that, and there's with good reason. He put 0.5 fantasy points. 0.5. And I had him in one of my leagues, and I struggled because a top running back I'm supposed to have this week put 0.5. He doesn't cut it. But Wilson still led the running backs in touches, still led in snaps. Now you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs defense that allows 28.1 points to the running back. They're also allowing 9 receptions to the running back as well. So this is a game that if it's going to happen, this would be the one that he's going to turn around. Now, Elijah Mitchell's obviously coming back soon. So if Jeff Wilson has the game I think he could possibly have, because I think a lot of people are going to be nervous playing him, but if he does perform the way he should, that is when you try to sell Jeff Wilson, and hopefully that person you're trading to them does not pay attention and realize, wow, Elijah Mitchell's coming back. So use that as a tool. Last guy I have as a good start this week is going to be Ramondre Stevenson, who I recommended last week, who's really good. Going against the Bears, if Harris, which is expected to miss some time, obviously there, Stevenson is going to get the start, obviously. He put up 76 yards last week, 2 rushing touchdowns. He was the clear RB1 for them. Bears also allow 24.9 points to the running back. They're also allowing an average of 120 rushing yards as well. This is another really good matchup for him. And on top of that, if he continues to perform the way I think he's capable of, and I think that's what I think Belichick and the Patriots are looking for, even when Damian Harris comes back, I think Harris possibly can lose his job. I think they'll still utilize him. I think they'll put him in there and early downs and things like that. But I think Ramondre is really proving that he could be really the all third down every snap. I mean, he does a phenomenal job. He's a great pass catcher. He's improving in the pass defense. And he's looking really good between the tackles. So I like him a lot. Now, the running back I don't have as a good start is going to be David Montgomery in that same game against the Patriots. Patriots are the second best against the running back in points. They only allow 17.1 combined. They have not allowed a rushing touchdown as well this season. Now, Montgomery does most of his damage typically in the passing game and red zone. But the Patriots do a really good job at taking the best player out of the picture. And that's one thing that they're going to focus on. They're going to make sure David Montgomery does not hurt them at all because they're not afraid of Justin Fields. They're not afraid of, unfortunately, Mooney. They're not afraid of Kmet. It's David Montgomery. Now, Herbert might squeak a little play here or there behind, obviously, Montgomery, but man, I just can't trust him this week at all. Another running back I don't feel really comfortable with, but you might start him based off of what you have, but I don't have Eno Benjamin as a good start. Going against the Saints, Saints are only allowing 18.8 points to the running backs. They're also keeping backs to only 3 receptions per game. Eno had an average performance filling in as the RB1. I thought that was going to be a good opportunity for him to possibly really get more opportunity in the role, but right now, it didn't prove a lot. And if Connor does come back, Benjamin kind of just sits back there. Connor doesn't look like he's going to play Thursday night. And again, if he doesn't start, obviously, gets the nod, but I don't like this matchup at all for him against the New Orleans Saints. And he just didn't prove a lot where he should have in that game. Thought he had a great matchup to really prove that he could be a pretty good back in this NFL, but wasn't really crazy about it. Another back I'm sitting this week is going to be Travis Etienne, who's actually done a really good job and really starting to cement himself as a good play every single week. But he's going against the Giants. You got to give credit where it is. I hate to say it as a Cowboys fan. It hurts to kind of swallow and say that, but Giants do a good job. They do a good job of preventing running backs from being effective in the passing game, which Etienne is that's like his niche. So now you're stopping him from what he does really good job at. They're also keeping running backs to 19.9 points as well, and they don't allow a lot of rushing yards. Earlier this season, they kept running backs like Christian McCaffrey to 12 points, Aaron Jones to 8 points. Those are top running backs that combined held them to 20 points. So the Giants have been slept on, but that defense actually does a really phenomenal job, and I don't feel comfortable putting Travis Etienne in. Again, depending on who you have, hit us some in the comments, but I'm going to sit him this week. Now, as far as sleepers go, the first guy I have is Tony Pollard as a pretty good sleeper against the Lions. Lions allowed 28.9 points to running backs. And now that Dak is back, I feel the passing game's going to obviously increase, and that role is going to go up. The playbook's going to open up even more, which is going to add value to Pollard. I think they're actually going to utilize him quite a bit. Pollard is obviously the explosive back in the backfield for the Dallas Cowboys, and he should be able to get 60-plus yards, probably about 4 to 5 receptions. I could see a 12 to 15-point game, sprinkle in a touchdown, and obviously getting closer to 20. I think even Zeke might get a touchdown. You might start Zeke as well. This is a decent matchup for him too, but I like Tony Pollard just a little bit more. Another running back I believe is going to be a good sleeper is going to be Kenyon Drake against the Browns. Dobbins is the starter, don't get me wrong, but Dobbins' knee had an injury reoccurrence. It locked up on him, which is why he was pulled out and Drake came in. Drake did a phenomenal job filling in, going over 100 yards and a touchdown. So depending on what happens with J.K. Dobbins and where this knee injury is and what the concern is, Drake becomes the guy. And the Browns allow 28.6 points to running backs. They allow over 115 rushing yards, and they allow a rushing touchdown per average game. So, again, as far as a back standpoint, I think Drake does another really phenomenal performance. I think he gets anywhere from 80 to 100 yards, another touchdown, 3 to 5 receptions, and have a really good performance for fantasy. So I like Drake as a sleeper. Obviously, stay tuned to see what happens with the injury bug. But I don't think Dobbins plays, and if he does, it's very limited. I think Drake kind of fills in. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for the running back for week 7. If you guys do have questions of who you should start, sit, trade questions, waiver questions, whatever it may be, always hit us some in the comments down below. We love answering those questions. We try to get to as many as we can. My goal is to answer all of them as soon as I can. If you guys did enjoy the content, make sure you hit the subscribe button and that your notification bell is on. That way you guys are notified every time we drop a video just like this. Also, hit the like button. Is greatly appreciated. Just kind of shows the love back to us. Again, this is an amazing fantasy football community. You guys have done a great job showing support, and I'm just looking forward to the growth and getting more and more of you guys in here to help you guys win. If you guys haven't already, check out our quarterback start and sit video. Again, that is up and running. Make sure you guys check that out as well. You guys ask us questions on our Twitter and Instagram as well if you have questions you want to ask there. Hit the comments, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, and I'll check you guys out next time.